My name is Bill Arender, and I'm going to be talking to you today about something that's very important to me and our whole company and to you. And because so many people come to our company and they're young, they're going to be young RVPs, and death is a distant occurrence to them. They don't know anyone that's died. If they do, they're very, very old. They don't know someone that's died and left their family in trouble without any money. And so many times we go out there and we just market a life insurance policy to somebody, and we don't think they're ever going to die, just one of those things. And a lot of times we just come back and say, I got an app. I need an app for a promotion. I need an app to make some money. And I realize that the other side of that app is a human being with needs, and they have a loving family. That's why years ago I wrote a booklet called The Last Love Letter. Because if you look at it, life insurance policy is the last love letter a person will receive from their loved one after their death. And there's two deaths when a person dies: the death of the person and then the death of the income. And we can't do anything about the first one, but we can do everything about the second one. We make a difference in the lives of people. We make people's lives better. And the last love letter is an emotional booklet that must be used, and not just read and understood. It must be used at every training class because it reveals the highly important emotional state that families go through that, frankly, unless you've been through it, you'll never understand it. Like Art Williams, the founder of our company, said, you're really not into Primerica until you pay your first death claim. Well, you don't have to wait to pay your first death claim. The last love letter will open up doors for you in understanding what the human heart is and how we can make a difference in the lives of people.
A Primerica rep met a couple with two young children, and the only insurance coverage they had was a $50,000 policy through his work. His wife had none. The rep wrote a $500,000 Primerica policy on the husband, $200,000 on the wife with the increasing benefit rider and child rider. 7 months later, the husband was killed in an industrial accident. Within days, Primerica had issued a check for $500,000 to the widow. One of the cornerstones of Primerica is the education that we provide to our clients. And so many times when we sit down with the family today, we don't find that they have the wrong kind of insurance. We find they don't even have life insurance at all. And now our first responsibility is to educate them obviously on the need for life insurance, but I think secondly, and almost as importantly, is making sure we educate them on why to have enough coverage. So many times families haven't sat down and actually thought about the consequences financially if one of the breadwinners were to pass away, and we've got to do a great job educating those families on why the proper amount of insurance is important. And if we don't do a good enough job, sometimes there's sticker shock when we talk to a family, that we're selling them such a big policy, or on the other side, there's maybe some inherent guilt that the policy's so big and people feel that they don't want to profit if someone that they love were to pass away. And that's on us to make sure that we do a good job educating that family on the importance of the insurance. See, we've got to help them understand that what we're doing is actually replacing someone's income for 10 or 20 or maybe 30 years, that we got to take care of college education for the children and perhaps paying off a mortgage or student loans or credit cards or car payments. And most of the time, families have never sat down and actually calculated what their financial needs would be if someone were to pass away. You got to help them understand the emotional aspect, that if there's not enough life insurance in place, that the house has to get sold and the children might have to move away from, their childhood home or the school where their friends attend. You got to always remember when you walk into that house that you're the only one standing in the gap between that family, those children, that husband, that wife, and potential financial devastation. You've got to walk in, and you've got to walk in with the Crusaders mentality. You've got to walk in ready to fight for that family, even if they're not yet aware that they need to fight for them themselves. What you and I do literally changes lives. Arm yourself, you get educated, understand our crusade. Convinced people can convince people.
They were just married, in their 20s, and had no children yet. But the couple knew they needed insurance. The Primerica rep wrote $250,000 in coverage for him that included a $150,000 spouse rider with increasing benefit rider. A few years later, they were blessed with a daughter. Life was good until the young mother was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. She fought the illness but eventually succumbed at only 32 years of age. Because of the IBR, the Primerica rep was able to present a $270,000 check to the husband. When a couple gets married, they usually exchange rings as a symbol of their love and commitment. And guys, what we're talking about in the last love letter is helping that couple understand that one of the most significant and tangible ways they can express that love and commitment is with a life insurance policy. The promises that they make when they get married to provide, to protect, we believe that those promises extend not just while they're alive, but also extend beyond death. And the way they can make sure that those promises are fulfilled even past death is with a life insurance policy and making sure they have the right amount of life insurance. And so this is something that's really important for you to convey to your client at the kitchen table, why they need life insurance, making sure they get the right amount of life insurance. And as a representative, we have to embrace and be passionate about our mission to get families properly protected. Man, I would just encourage you every time you're sitting with a family that you visualize getting that phone call that maybe one of those partners passes away and that you're going to be delivering a death benefit check. And you want to make sure you're doing a great job. So number one, that you get them protected. You help them make great choices so they get the right amount of coverage and they give their family a wonderful gift of being able to grieve and not have to have financial worries. We can't take away the grief, but we can take away the financial concerns by getting them properly protected. This is such a critical part of what we do, and I just hope that you'll use the last love letter to make sure that you're getting that done even in a more powerful and significant way at the kitchen table.
Primerica is unique in the insurance industry. We have a 38-year track record of doing what's right for our clients. In 2014, we paid over $1 billion in death benefits. That is an average of $3 million of death benefit claims paid through our life insurance companies every day. At Primerica, I believe we're guardian angels for many families. I'll go on my Facebook, and people are more concerned with the last gadget that's coming out. They're more concerned with who's making what for dinner, what's the latest gossip. And you scroll down a little further, and there's a GoFundMe. A lot of times, many families could avoid that. For $1 to maybe $5 a day, we protect families. See, I believe we change lives. See, I truly believe that's why our clients love us, because they know that they're going to be financially prepared. But there's so many people out there that are more concerned with that one last gadget, or they're more concerned with what's the latest gossip or whose latest picture is on Facebook. Yeah, if they sit with someone like us for $1 to maybe $5 a day, we'll protect those families. And I believe that's why we're the guardian angels for so many families.
I'd like to give you an idea of what life is really like at the wake of the night before a person is buried. In Texas, they call it a showing, where all the family comes together and they pay respects to the deceased. But they pay respects to the deceased, in this particular case would be to the widow. And this is a true story, and how people are lined up to give the widow their respects, and they might be bringing a covered dish, they might be bringing a batch of flowers, they might be bringing a sympathy card. And a true story, one day, a widow was in line being totally distraught because her husband had died, the love of her life, the children are there, and a Primerica agent with 7 people in line, and she broke line when she saw him and rushed into his arms and broke down because he wasn't bringing a covered dish or flowers or a sympathy card. He was bringing a check. We have to understand that we have to take personal responsibility for how another person's life will turn out. Once you know the power of this, for pennies a day, we can give people hundreds of thousands of dollars of protection. We have to empathize with them and know that their life is not going to be the same, but we can fix the financial aspects of it and not just think that, well, just a life insurance policy we sold, or they're not going to die. They are going to die, and if they're not going to die, then why are we even approaching them? You can make a difference in your life. Remember, what we do matters. What you do matters. What you do for another human being will resonate for generations in that family. It's just not selling life insurance. It's bringing them financial salvation. The necessary action step is to download the last love letter. Not only read it, earmark it, and let it do the work for you. And watch what will happen, because it'll make you happy that you're there, and it'll make them happy because you were there. You're going to love the last love letter.